Let's travel back in time to a quiet town in West Yorkshire, England, Pontefract. It might sound ordinary, but beneath the surface, this town holds one of the most chilling paranormal legends in British history. A legend so terrifying that it has earned a reputation as the site of one of England's most violent poltergeist hauntings, the Black Monk of Pontefract. It sounds ominous just saying the name, but who, or perhaps we should say what, is the Black Monk? And how did it come to haunt an unassuming house on a residential street, leaving those who witnessed it scrambling for answers? Let's take you to 30 East Drive, the infamous location where the strange events unfolded. The house itself is an ordinary semi-detached home, like so many others in the neighborhood. A place where families are raised, where children play, and life goes on as usual. Except in this rare instance, life would turn into a waking nightmare. The story begins in the 1960s. It was 1966, in fact, when the Pritchard family moved into the house. At first, everything was fine. Simple small town living. There was nothing unusual, at least not at first. But soon, the peace of their new home was shattered as frighteningly bizarre things began to occur. It started small, as these things often do. It was subtle, lights flickering on and off, odd sounds in the middle of the night. Then it escalated. Objects began moving on their own. Doors slammed shut without warning. Cupboards opened by themselves. A strange, fine white dust began materializing out of thin air. The family moved quickly from bewildered curiosity to outright fear. They couldn't explain what they were experiencing. But they weren't alone. Extended family members saw it too. Everyone felt it, the unnerving presence lingering in the house. And then the true horror revealed itself. One evening, the entity made itself known in the most terrifying way. The Pritchards claimed to have spotted a shadowy figure, dressed in what appeared to be a monk's robes, dark, flowing, spectral. This figure, unnervingly, seemed to have no face, no expression, just an unrelenting emptiness where a human face should be. Soon, whispers around Pontefract spread like wildfire. People called it the Black Monk, the spirit said to haunt not only the Pritchards' home, but the very land itself. And what's worse, this wasn't just a ghost, it was a poltergeist, a restless, angry spirit capable of manipulating the physical world with terrifying force. But the question was, why? What would cause a spirit to lash out so violently at seemingly innocent strangers? To make sense of the madness, some turn to local history for answers. Pontefract has a long and fascinating history, much of it tied to religion. This particular area was once the site of a priory centuries ago, a place where monks lived and worshipped. Legend has it that one of those monks was sentenced to death, a gruesome death, hanged for the crime of murdering a young girl. As historical sources note, executions were commonplace in medieval times, often accompanied by turmoil, pain, and suffering, all the ingredients many believe can lead to hauntings. Was this monk's spirit condemned to remain forever tethered to the land? Now, skeptics might dismiss this theory out of hand, but there's no denying that something unnatural was happening at 30 East Drive. Take, for example, one of the most infamous incidents, the hallway chandelier. The Pritchards claim to have seen it swing wildly, as though something or someone was pushing it with furious strength. There was no draft, no open windows, no rational explanation. And then there were the physical attacks. Unlike many ghost stories, the Black Monk didn't simply frighten people, it hurt them. It allegedly pulled hair, scratched skin, pushed people down staircases. It was as if the entity fed off fear, growing stronger each time it unleashed its fury. Over time, the poltergeist disturbance became too much for the family to bear. Parts of the house seemed completely cursed. One room in particular, the master bedroom, earned a reputation as the epicenter of the haunting, a place where the entity appeared with ferocious consistency. While the Pritchards wouldn't leave the house, they did everything they could to avoid this room at night. But perhaps the most disturbing moment in this haunting didn't take place under the Pritchards' roof. Years later, paranormal investigators began to study 30 East Drive. Curious to see if the Black Monk's spirit still lingered, what they captured isn't easily forgotten. One particularly famous photo taken by an investigator appears to show a shadowy figure creeping down the staircase. The figure, dark and menacing, looks strikingly similar to how the Pritchards once described the monk. Even to this day, researchers debate whether this photograph is genuine or staged, but the haunting power of the image leaves little room for doubt. More than 50 years after the first incident, 30 East Drive remains a site of intrigue. While the Pritchards have long since moved away, the house regularly attracts visitors hoping to experience paranormal activity firsthand. Some claim the Black Monk is still there, watching from the shadows, waiting to make itself known again. And here's the chilling part of the Black Monk legend: the haunting isn't confined to the house itself. Some say the entire land surrounding 30 East Drive carries the imprint of the monk's rage. Visitors to Pontefract report unexplained sensations, cold spots, whispers in dark alleyways, the distinct feeling of being watched. People who have studied this case often ask what the monk's motive might be. Why is the spirit so violent? Does its rage stem from being accused of murder centuries ago? Or is there another, even darker force at play? Skeptics will say it's all nonsense, the kind of story towns tell when they want to attract attention. But here's the thing, no matter how much people try to dismiss it, the legend never seems to die. The stories persist, and the photos, the scratches, the eerie noises, they keep coming back. Time and again, witnesses claim something isn't right about 30 East Drive. So, skeptics, maybe it really is all nonsense. Or maybe, just maybe, the Black Monk is still there, cloaked in the shadows, waiting for someone to come close enough to feel his wrath once again. Who would dare? Who would visit this house? For many, it might just be curiosity. But for the unlucky few, curiosity can be dangerous. In Pontefract, it might awaken something you can't escape. What do you think? Is the legend of the Black Monk of Pontefract just a story, exaggerated by time and people's imaginations? Or is it concrete evidence of things we can understand, a spirit that refuses to rest? Whatever the truth may be, one fact is certain: the Black Monk has forever left its mark on 30 East Drive and on British folklore.